Have you ever wondered what sets extraordinary leaders apart from good ones or even mediocre ones? That's something that I've wondered about for a long time. And today we're going to talk about something really cool, if that's of any interest to you. It's something I've been working on for the last few years. It's a framework that I'm developing called the 5 N's of leadership. This process and this way of thinking can revolutionize the way you think about yourself, the way you lead, the way you run your team. It can revolutionize your company and the way you recruit, the way you hire, and even the way you provide services to your customers or clients. So pay attention. This is going to be fun. Hi, my name is Clay Cutts. I'm a therapist turned business and leadership coach, and I'm also the founder of Square Peg Coaching. I help good leaders become great and great leaders become extraordinary. So I've been a therapist for a long time and been coaching for several years. And even in the end of my therapy practice, I noticed that I was attracting business owners, entrepreneurs, uh, like experienced, successful entrepreneurs, and people that were starting their entrepreneurial journey. So I've worked with business people and leaders a good bit. And before I was in the therapy world, I worked in corporate settings, and so I've had the opportunity to work with some mediocre leaders, some good leaders, and a couple of really extraordinary ones. Literally two or maybe three would fall into that category. So for me, the question of what's the difference? Because I know plenty of people who are very good at their job, they're smart, they're educated, they're talented, they're driven, and they're still not great. They're still not extraordinary leaders. So, like, what's up? Is the question I've had. So, over the last few years, I've noticed some patterns, right, and that's sort of the way my brain works. Is like I look for patterns, look for commonalities, look for um, the details that connect things together, because it's great if we're successful at something, but we need to know why we're successful in order to repeat it. And if we fail at something, it's helpful to know why we failed so we don't repeat it, right? So that's why the patterns are so important. So over time, I noticed that extraordinary leaders have 5 things in common. They're basically 5 things they do, and I'm gonna run those down for you in a little bit of detail, sort of a summary today, and then over the next few weeks, I'm going to really dig into each of these 5 pieces that extraordinary leaders do. And you can hopefully you'll be able to introduce some of this into your leadership journey, or maybe you'll recognize, yeah, I already do a really good job at that, right? Or maybe there's another one where you think, I could do better there. So here we go. The Real quick, the 5 N's are influence, inspire, envision, innovate, and include. I'm going to go through those. First of all, it's influence. Um, in the realm of in any kind of leadership setting, any kind of business setting, influence is it's not about manipulating. It's not about forcing. It's about nurturing change in others. And really, if I had to define or come up with a synonym for leadership, I would say that influence is as close a word as I could find. So, so whether it's your team or you serve a team of people, or maybe individual customers you're serving, creating an environment that breeds healthy habits and learning is really, really paramount. And influence is the way to do that. And I'll talk a lot about how you develop influence, so that you can apply it in the next couple of weeks. Number 2 is inspire. Like we've all had those moments where we just felt really driven, and really like our vision just expands, and like, oh, we see all these possibilities, and that's fun. But here's the thing: we can't wait for that to happen because it happens too infrequently. And if you're in a leadership position, you are responsible for being an inspiration for yourself, and you're responsible for being an inspiration for your team. And guess what? Your team is also responsible for their own inspiration. So part of this leadership is inspiring, is for you to stay inspired yourself and figuring out what things keep you inspired, and then coaching your team on it being inspirational. And when you get your whole team working together and everybody's in this place of inspiration, can you see how much more productive things can be? This isn't rah stuff. This is true inspiration, and we'll dig into this a lot more in a couple of weeks. Number three is envision, or imagine is another word here. Uh, Vision is so important. It's kind of gotten talked about so much in the the sort of pop business culture that has kind of lost some of its meaning. And having a compelling vision for where your company is going and what you're doing and why you're doing it is important. And being able to articulate that to members of your team and enroll them in that vision to get everybody rowing in the same direction. That's super, super important. Again, we're going to dig into that more as well. Number four is innovate. Um, it's great to keep doing the things that work, and you should, like the things you figured out. We keep doing those, and companies that aren't changing will die. And even if you're not responsible for a whole company, maybe you're responsible for a department, or maybe you're responsible for a small team, or maybe you work by yourself. Maybe you're a solo entrepreneur and you lead your clients, right, or your customers, right, which is still leadership. Being able to innovate and see a couple steps out ahead is really, really important. I call it going from being a checkers player to being a chess player. You can't win at chess if you're not seeing 3 or 4 or 5 steps out ahead. And being able to innovate, having that sort of understanding your market well enough to see what's coming, what might be coming, so that you can come up with new ideas is really, really important. There's a whole bunch that goes into innovation: how you manage your time, how you manage your schedule, how you relate to productivity, how you relate to creativity. All of it fits in here. But this is how, and we're going to talk about specifically how to innovate within your teams. So number 5 is include. Now, I mean this in a couple of different ways. Now, inclusion is a really important topic in today's business climate. If we're not including people of different genders and different races and different religions and all kinds of people, we're making a mistake. Just from a culturally rich place that we can create in our environment, in our work environment, by just including people of all different backgrounds. And that's what I mean when I say include, but I also mean this: including people in the thought process and in the idea development process, right? If you have 5 people working for you, so you have 6 brains working on a problem. That's more important. That's better than just your brain, right? And having people who disagree with you, and having people who question you in a respectful way, having people that have counter, that really make you sort of think about a problem from a creative way is super, super powerful. Well, I'm talking about ego here, right? It's really easy to. This is what bosses do wrong. Bosses have egos. Leaders do not. Bosses rely on their own brains. Leaders include everyone, so they can rely on everybody's brains. And a brain that's as different from yours as possible is super, super valuable. But between you, you'll come up with ideas that neither of you would have ever come up with on your own. So that's include. So summary: influence, inspire, envision, innovate, include. Those are the five pillars of the 5 N's of leadership. So just to wrap it up, leadership's not about a title. It's not. It's a journey of continuous growth. It's about resilience. It's about empowerment. It's about creativity. It's about bringing people together, and it's about having a vision for what you do that's bigger than what you do. It's like like if what you do is make widgets, nobody cares. Nobody cares about the widgets, right? And if you can create a vision about why creating those widgets is so important, then you can really sort of bring people together. People will follow you. That's what this is about. This is about becoming the person, having a way of being that people will follow. So that's what we're all about here. I hope you'll stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next video.